All right, so here we are with an after-event quick car recap. I don't know if anybody wants to take responsibility for this one. I don't really remember feeling the hit, but this exhaust definitely got a smooch. It would have been coming from the driver's side transition. Really my fault because this thing stuck out a good 3-4 inches. So somebody has a mark on their front bumper because that got pushed over. I'm thinking Honadale, if that's how you pronounce it. And I know that this here belongs to Magic Mike. I think it was after his initiation when his car was broken of me coming into the first turn. I was getting set up to get back on throttle in that first corner and felt the bump, and his car went uncontrollable because that arm broke again after his 5-minute timeout weld job. I didn't really touch anything else yet or look anything over. The only other thing notable is this here, and this one is my fault. Practice with what's
car?
Yeah, the white one, Mission.
Huh?
Mission.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Licklider.
What's his 3 initials? Jack Motorsports. Yeah, that's what I know him by. I should know him better than that, but I'm bad with names. You'll keep seeing that. But anyways, this was right after the judges, and I was trying to figure out exactly how long my nose was, because people say that I tend to hang back a little bit and let people transition. Well, this time I was sticking a little bit closer after he said he was doing perfect most of the day. And it would just timed it just a little bit wrong, and his back bumper hit right there. It was a pretty good hit too. It was his rear bash bar is what really got it, but I folded over his bumper cover. Seen that fly. It didn't really unsettle us too much, but it definitely caught that there. And that was about it. The fans died at the event because the wiring was not too hot. Another huge thing to note, that was my first event on the ISC suspension. I was happy with it. I didn't get much chance to dial it around, but Turbo Mike told me what to start at, and I was happy with that the whole event. Nils, the one with the mini truck, had just put this oil pan on. That came from Dimitri. I have to replace that for him, if anybody knows where I can get a slicky oil pan for him. So anyways, right before the event, like a week before, Nils did a bunch of work with moving my rack forward. I bought the rack, modified Wisefab rack, done by Turbo Mike. If you need any work up in Mass or Connecticut, that's the person you want to talk to. He sold me the steering rack and the modified front subframe. And then we put the lowers on that were modified by Bink, but we didn't put this part of it on, so people are telling me that that's not good. The shaking, if anybody's following my car from the last 2.5 years and 10 people that worked on it, this part right here, yeah, this part here, which is essentially the ball joint, I guess, but it's a Heim joint, that's what was loose. That's why my whole front end was shaking around. So that was what was taking out all my racks. That's the reason why I moved my rack forward. And nobody could figure out what I wound up doing to figure out the shake. I ratchet strapped a 4x4 onto this wheel, right to the face of it, and then I put a 10-foot 2x6 onto that and just shook the car as violent as I could. And when Nils was underneath it, he said, yup, that's all your play right there, right in this. So that's what it was. After 2 or 3 years of screwing around on the Wisefab, it just, we're talking about 100 events, and that thing just started to have some play in it, but nobody could figure it out just moving the wheel until I had all that fulcrum to really shake the wheel around. That's how we figured out what was loose. I put a GoPro under a couple of times and we couldn't really figure out what was shaking, but it was violent. I mean, the wheel would move 6 inches or at least 3 inches back and forth violently until I slowed down to 20 miles an hour. When I was sideways, it never had an issue, but it was going straight on straightaways, on the road, because this car is registered and insured, so I don't drive it much, but if I want to test it, I could do that. So anyways, that's pretty much everything I can tell you. The other thing was, and why this car is so quiet, is because of this muffler. Everybody says how quiet this car is, and that's the reason. I do have this dump, but the last couple of people that worked on the car never wired it in, so that's another thing we'll do. If it's louder, my spotter can tell me a little bit more about my run here when I'm off throttle in the wrong spot or something of that nature. So I'd like to get that fixed. It's cool that it's quiet because, again, I could drive it on the street. That's really about it. If anybody has any questions on anything, let me know. And just a quick recap, I need to straighten out this exhaust, paint the ground effect kit. What else? She's gonna need some tires up front. I gotta get Dimitri a pan. Maybe change that wise fab and send the rest of this out to Bink to modify that. That's about all I could say. And if anybody found my corner light, save it for round 2. I'll scoop it then. Still for sale, 20 G's. You know you want it. Buy it.